Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to Let's Play Elden Ring. I can't quite put my finger on it, but something is a little bit different today. So we're going to start off today on the promenade and work our way down to Elphael, the brace of the Halig tree. And right when we get around to the base of the stairs, yeah, there are always so many bloodstains around here. There he goes. Yeah, you can always see them trying to do that. It's funny to watch the ghosts of players who threw themselves off of there trying to get to that chest. Because all you actually have to do to get to the chest is go to the bottom of the ladder and take the stairs. It's not a hidden or very out of the way chest, but it does contain an ancient dragon smithing stone. They really tend to load you up on those in the endgame. There's a somber variant not too deep in to the next section of the dungeon. And after just a short elevator ride down, ever descending, we finally reach the brace of the Halig tree, Elphael. And this is where the dungeon starts getting kind of complex. You can see all the different vertical layers to it, the way it crisscrosses in spider webs. And we also get the extra atmospheric effect of the embers floating all around us because of when we came here. Post-burning of the Erd tree. Wow, I worked so hard to get the clean rot set off screen in the Aeonian swamp. It took me so long farming all the nights out there. It does figure something like that would happen. Clean rot, death ritual. I think we go death ritual. And once we get into, I think this is the prayer room? We find Millicent again.
Again we meet. I can only surmise our purposes are aligned. In which case, allow me to explain myself. I am of Melania's blood, but in what capacity I know not. I could be sister, daughter, or an offshoot. Whatever the case, though, I am certain of a kinship between us. There is something I must return to Melania. The will that was once her own. The dignity. The sense of self that allowed her to resist the call of the Scarlet Rot, the pride she abandoned, to meet Radahn's measure.
I think it's interesting that she uses the word sister, daughter, or offshoot. Anyway, let's head back to Gowrie real quick.
Ah, welcome, welcome. How may I help? Oh, the words of a true innocent, the dear girl. Well, perhaps this is just as it should be. Little Millicent following in the steps of her mother, no matter what. This is their fate, after all.
So something a little funky happened on the way back from Gowrie with the recording. Thankfully, we weren't too deep in the episode. But I didn't notice it until like 10 minutes in, so I have to redo a little bit. That's not your problem, though. So if you've ever grown a tree, you know sometimes they need support. Especially young ones. You tend to see them with braces or like a few straps anchored to posts. So what this whole city is functionally a brace for the Halig tree. I wonder if that would make Leyndell the brace of the Erd tree. Or maybe it isn't called that way, where Elphael is because they're trying to denote a difference in relationship. Also, note all of these cocoons, webbings hanging off the ceiling here, below triple rings of light. Like here, the impression that I get is that their support is freely given to the Halig Tree and to Mikola, its caretaker. Because it's something he created to shelter them, to give them sanctuary. Let's see, I think... Okay, there's usually a Erdtree avatar who patrols that lower rampart. He's pretty far away, so he won't get a chance to snipe us with Golden Star, whatever that annoying projectile is. If he was a lot closer, I wouldn't bother climbing this ladder. He would kill me. He would aggro from across the bridge and just snipe me. This also does give us a chance to get a better look at the lay of the land for this part of the dungeon. This spider web of buttresses and stairways and ladders crisscrossing. See, that hole in the roof over there is just an ambush into that small room with the 3 guys in it that we saw earlier. Anyway, where was I? I think the Erdtree has kind of a similar give and take relationship, but it seems like it takes a lot of coercion to maintain that. Like, it's not reciprocal. It's not an even exchange. It takes a lot of coercion to maintain that relationship. People don't support the Erdtree so much as they are resigned to fate. I want to mess around with bikes more. It's been too long since I had it on. Across here, we're just going to jump onto that buttress and then make a jump over. And we'll get a legendary Spirit Ash out of it. Ooh, hello. Forgot about you. Yeah, we already know, like, what the Golden Order gets up to. We know the Elden Ring is inextricably linked to the Erdtree, and that the Greater Will called down a golden star bearing a beast that became the Elden Ring. One is a force of subjugation that came to impose a system, and one was made as a sanctuary and nurtured willingly. And Clean Rot Knight Finley, what a champion! One of my favorite Spirit Ashes. What a fighter. He's not the champion, but... See, we could jump down. There are more cocoons hanging on the ceiling over there. There will be a different way into that room. Something that might work out a little bit better for us. This should be the Somber Ancient Dragon Smithing Stone. Yeah. And then, a little bit further away from that, we have... another Seedbed Curse. Our 4th one out of, I want to say, 6 in the game. That we need 5 of total? Pretty sure I'm remembering the numbers right on that. But yeah, that does remind us that we have to get back to the Dung Eaters quest soon. There's actually another Seedbed Curse waiting for us in this dungeon. And in order to get to it, we just hop down here, make another drop to the mid-level, and then take the stairs down into this pitch black room. that is just a drop away from the lowest level of this section. This room has 3 Crystallions waiting in ambush in it. And it has 2 items, one of which is completely worthless. The other is a smithing stone, I think. That one being not worth our time. Now, this part of the dungeon, very, very dangerous because of them. Good, he lunged into it. This is why I threw the Lord's Heal on. The revenants are undead. They don't do well against healing magic. Final Fantasy rules. Oh, hi. You broke my bubble by doing that. I think that's uncalled for. That is one of the weaknesses of the bubble crystal tier. Is even an instance of 1 damage, 1 point of damage, is enough to break it. It doesn't matter if it's 1 or a million. Give ourselves a little respite by coming up here. There are more of the Royal Revenants to deal with. There are 4 or 5 in total down here. And I really do take them that seriously. Not a ton of enemies I'll go out of my way to specifically counter. Like, I'm not preparing specific countermeasures to fight, I don't know, a Crystallion, which I'm not going to fight, but you get my point. If I want to fight one of them, I'll just do a bunch of jumping attacks, break their posture, do a critical, and then fight them normally. These? No, 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 no. These things are scary. Especially the large versions. And the really messed up thing about them is they cover so much distance so quickly. You can't really get breathing room once they're aggroed on you. However, this is such an effective tactic. And then there should be 1 or 2 more. There's 1. I think there's 1 more up ahead. Oh, that's not good. Okay, I'm going to drink immediately. So there's no chance I get caught without the ability to cast. And then I think this should do it. Okie doke. And then I still have 1 flask left to deal with the final revenant, who's going to spawn right when we get outside the door. Also brought a bunch of starlight shards just to make absolutely sure. Okay. We can... Oh no, the range! The range was bad. I don't like this. Reset for a second. Let my boy handle it. He's much more tanky than I am. No, he keeps just backing out of the range. Okay, this is rough. This should be good. Man, this got so ugly. It's okay, I can just lame this out. I don't have to put myself in any more danger than is necessary. Oh, Mimic Tier, you've done your job wonderfully. Splendid job, my man, splendid job. Those enemies are so damn stressful. But I gotta say, the reward for going through the Gauntlet of Revenants is a quite creepy room. However, we do get one of the stronger seals in the game, Marika's Source Seal. That was a Source Seal, right? Not Scar Seal? Yeah, Source Seal. That's Source Seal. It works like the Radagon Source Seal in that it will greatly boost a bunch of attributes, but in exchange, cut your defense a bit. But if I remember right, just like Radagon's, the increase in attributes and thus the increase in defense points from them offsets a lot of the damage penalty you end up taking. Okay, and now we can just come up to the other side. We've mostly been working on the left-hand side of Elphael. This is our first real foray into the right-hand side, both the middle and the upper sections. Dang. Hope that was... was hoping that was going to be a direct hit. No fun, though. I have to remember, I don't have tons of resources to work with either. I have no blue flasks. But I don't think that... Ooh, uh-oh, okay. No! Wait, this is... No, I die before I can get up and heal. Damn. I really thought the revenants were going to be the only thing that I had to worry about. That is how it tends to go, though. That one has figured out how to get outside, yeah. The other Clean Rot Knight figured out the doggy door. Now it's gonna chase the fucking mailman, oh my god! Okay, we're fine. That guy just jump scared me a tad bit. This will inflict us with Scarlet Rot, that's fine. We're half health, as long as we roll out of the corner. Take that guy with us, I guess? Wow, this guy is a go-getter. Oh, right, the R2 on that. It's the horizontal sweep and not the thrust. I think one-handed it's the thrust, though. Unfortunate. Okay, my heart rate's up a little bit. For the second time in this room. Completely ignore them. Probably best not to ignore these two, though. I think the ones following behind are not likely to get on the ballistae. Oh, the running one is good, though. That's what I want. I just don't like their attitude, I'll be honest. Okay. Second set of Spirit Ashes, not as prestigious as Clean Rot Knight Finley. But it is a multiple number of soldiers, so those Spirit Ashes tend to be pretty useful at tanking. Tanking causing a distraction. And because we came at this from this angle, instead of going the direct route, we actually fall behind the avatar and into a room with a grace. And since he can... Oh, he can fit through the door. Huh. Okay, let's touch that now. I don't expect I'll need it, but... Ah, farts. We don't like this. We don't like this. We especially don't like this. Whenever he feels free to stop spamming that, we'll just huck some more plasma. Note that won't make it over the stairs. He teleported. Okay. Well, now we know his limits. He can get through the door. He can't get to that narrow stairway. Doesn't reach. Does reach. Doesn't make it in... Does make it in time. Doesn't make it in time. Oh, I thought he dropped his staff. Aren't you supposed to get the staff from him? What? Okay. Well, I was under the impression that you get the putrid staff there, but hey. Mimic Tier, you're up again. I simply don't like this courtyard. It's full of the really annoying Lanedale Bow Knights. Actually, not the Lanedale ones, Halig Tree versions, which are still pretty bad. Yeah, that one really likes to shoot you while you get distracted dealing with this guy, I think. Yeah, I love how layered this dungeon is. Rather, this part of it. The dungeon overall is full of so many different types of enemies and environments. It itself is very layered. But I mean specifically the layout of this, the way everything crisscrosses and intersects, I think it's very cool. And we've essentially cleared that out. And that section is all cleared out. Now we can move on to the inner wall of Elphael. But before we do, let's check some item descriptions. Let's catch up on those. We've collected a lot of stuff. Crown of unalloyed gold, raises faith, not much there. Spirits of common soldiers, carry the sacred light. When weakened, they explode. Forgot about that one. This was the bitter revelation discovered by the desperate soldiers who awaited the return of their lord to the rotted Halig tree. May the flash of our deaths guide Miquella's return. The flash of our deaths. Servants, Miquella the Halig tree. One of those carried by Carrion Knights. Instead of glintstone, however, amber from the Halig tree is embedded in the blade. A sumptuous piece. Yet it has never been offered to any knight. An ill-starred sword with no master. A sumptuous sword. It is quite ornate. A gift from the young Miquella to his father, Radagon. And Finley was one of the few survivors of the Battle of Aeonia, who in an unimaginable act of heroism carried the slumbering demigod Melania all the way back to the Halig tree. She managed the feat alone, fending off all manner of foes along the way. Went to ground zero of the nuclear explosion caused by Melania and carried her home. Solemn duty weighs upon the one beholden, not unlike a gnawing curse from which there is no deliverance. An eye engraved with an Elden rune, said to be the seal of Queen Marika, raises mind, intelligence, faith, and arcane, also greatly increases damage taken by a similar measure. I think the headline of that, though, Queen Rot Knight Finley, greatest hero of all time. Okay. And atop this tangled knot of roots, we can see a situation that I do not feel like dealing with. So, on goes the bubble, and iframes, please. Iframes, no! Okay, this is fine. This is fine. This is totally fine. Alright, good. Okay, good. We are fine. This is no problem. Not a problem. I was expecting a few more iframes, but not a problem. Not a problem. I do wonder sometimes where those iframes went, but still, not a problem, not a problem, not a problem. Just wondering where the iframes were. Curious, really. Oh, the small chests open faster, so you get fewer iframes. More webbing, more The ones that are hanging make me think of cocoons, but the ones on the bottom make me think of webbed prey. Oh, okay. No, it's fine. Oh, yes. The return of the pests. Long awaited. So after a short jaunt through the inner wall, where we end up dumped out is this drainage channel full of stagnant Scarlet Rot infused water. Along with a whole lot of pests. Which makes sense. It makes sense for them to be housed here. For them to take up residence. For them to be resident weevils. Oh shit, I should have prepped a dagger with Bloodhound Step or Quick Step. We're just gonna have to very clunkily roll our way through this. Da-dun, da-dun, da-dun. Okay, and the rhythm of rolling is over. Oh, yes, 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 yes. So we dropped this lower route. Yeah, we can get a great view once we collect the butterflies. Down to the very bottom of the dungeon. A place that some people are going to be very, very familiar with. And if you're not familiar with it yet, you're in for a very fun surprise. We are not even that far from it. So we take the doorway to the left, drop down this short ladder. The canal leads out to another site of grace. And then further out back into the city. It's just a jump to the left. Different movie, but Annihilation. What a film. What a book, but also what a film. So one of my favorites of all time. I've seen it so many times. I have a deep, deep fondness for Annihilation. You probably know that the reason I would be bringing Annihilation up is because its director, Alex Garland, was recently announced as being the director for an A24 produced Elden Ring movie. And I have thoughts. First off, I'm really surprised that the rumors that I was hearing about months ago that I think we talked about for a little bit actually had some truth to them. But I'm especially shocked that it's Alex Garland who's going to be helming this. I would have said pleasantly so at one point. Oh, Christ. I'm getting jumped by small bugs, and their size actually does pose a slight problem. In that it's harder to hit them. But not with this. Yeah, so I love Annihilation. I was also a pretty big fan of Ex Machina. I really like that film. Not as much as Annihilation, but I think it's great. Saw Men in theaters. Thought that was fine. Punctuated with some really tense moments and some gruesome body horror, especially at the end. Then there's the recent two. Ooh, ooh. Okay, hold on. We'll get back to that. That's what I get for letting that one live and drop to the bottom. This time... Ooh. This is not good. This is off to a worse start somehow. Oh. Also doesn't help that I was locking on to the small ones instead of the one I actually wanted. Okay, that's just a small one. Small bug, small projectile, small damage. Just annoying. But the big problem is you. Aw, farts. Okay. We're fine. We're doing it. And now we are safe. Yeah. We're safe. Yeah, so the recent two Alex Garland joints. Civil War, I haven't seen it yet, so I can't fully judge it, but I've heard that it has the most bland, gray, sludge, centrist politics imaginable, and that it's quite disappointing, especially in an explicitly political movie about a second American Civil War. How are you going to tackle that subject but not have any real principles to stand on? Like, apparently Texas and California join forces for reasons and against, I don't know. It could be that people who have described it to me, the very many of them, are all not very media literate. I don't think that's the case. But hey, I haven't seen it for myself. That does sound like a fundamental flaw to me, though. Really took the wind out of my sails. I do kind of get the feeling, though, that when I do eventually get around to watching it, it's going to vindicate all of those people who told me about it, because his more recent movie, I do not have to see that to judge, because it has something more fundamental wrong with it. Also, I've seen the interviews and the press they've done where they're like, oh, it doesn't have an agenda, there's no intended takeaway, we're leaving it up to the audience to figure it out how to feel about this. Which is usually the kind of, like, wishy-washy garbage that just means, yeah, we're a little bit center-right, but we don't want to talk about that, because it might cause problems. Fuck off, honestly. Fuck off with that. I don't have the patience for that Ubisoft shit trying to, like, dress up games like The Division or movies like that as apolitical. Like, the gall of trying to do that for a fucking Iraq war movie a quarter of a century after the US first invaded. How does that one quote go? Not only will America go to your country and kill your people, they'll come back 20 years later and make a movie about how it made their soldiers sad. Oh, they make horrible, unsettling baby noises. Ugh. Yeah, shit. Oh, I should specify, I moved on to talking about Warfare. I was talking about Civil War before. Warfare is the one I was talking about. That's an Iraq war movie. It's based on the testimony of... a Navy SEAL named Ray Mendoza, who's also the movie's co-director. It's about the Battle of Ramadi, in which his group failed to secure a house, ate shit, and then the military did a bunch of revenge war crimes. I think I may have to go through them for that. No, actually, I don't know if I want all this. Because the flower's not terribly important, but... Oh, they don't even aggro from there? Okay. I think that would have been bad. I would have gotten sniped by him. Let's go around the right-hand side from down here. This battle, the Battle of Ramadi, is one the military has been trying to go back and sanitize for many years now. And this is part of that effort. Oh, by the way, another big source of that historical revisionism can be traced to a book written by a dude who, I am not joking, is named Dick Couch. And that is not a pseudonym for J.D. Vance. Now we do all that, not for the Ghost Glovewort 9, but for the Bell Bearing. There's some more pests, some more things to pick up. I think it's all small fry shit, so... From here, I'm gonna turn around, actually not go back outside, but instead go back the way we came, go back up the ladder, go back to the Scarlet Rot Lake. Not that one, the small one. It's more like a Scarlet Rot hot tub, like a really big really big pond, really. Get in the Scarlet Rot jacuzzi. Good, good, good. Don't skitter away like Zoidberg. Whoop, 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 whoop. And this movie is not even Ray Mendoza's first foray into making military propaganda. He started a movie called Act of Valor back in 2012, which was a similar deal. The idea that this is the person who's going to have a neutral take is silly. And even sillier is the idea that there can be a neutral take on the Iraq War. That, like, a neutral take isn't just inherently pro-Iraq War and pro-US military. Neutrality favors the oppressor. And this isn't a neutral situation. It's not a both sides shades of gray thing. It's the Iraq War. An uncritical presentation of it from the perspective of the invaders is a pro-Iraq War narrative. Plus, there's a quote that I've heard. Oh, no, 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 no! I should not have dove into my memory palace for quotes at that moment. Goddamn. You're going to try to do it to me again. What we're gonna get from him in terms of drops is just another golden seed. Unfortunately, still needed to come here and clear him out because... Alright, now we will get the choice of whether or not to assist Millicent against 4 other invaders, or to duel her ourselves to the death. We will be helping her out.
Number one, now my song has just begun with a rum-tum-taddle-um, old John Brattle-um, hey, what country folk we be. Number two, roosters crow cock-a-doodle-doo with a rum-tum-taddle-um, old John Brattle-um, hey, what country folk we be. Number three, 3 little monkeys up a tree with a rum-tum-taddle-um, old John Brattle-um, hey, what country folk we be. Number four, 2 plus 1, then add 1
Ring
more with a
out.
rum-tum-taddle-um, old John Brattle-um, hey, what country folk we be. Number five, bees make honey in a hive with a rum-tum-taddle-um, old John Brattle-um, hey, what country folk we be. Number six, 3 little ducks and 3 little chicks with a rum-tum-taddle-um, old John Brattle-um, hey, what country folk we be. Number seven, add 4 more to make 11 with a rum-tum-taddle-um, old John Brattle-um, hey, what country folk we be. Number 8, number 8. 4 through the window and 4 through the gate with a rum-tum-taddle-um, old John Braddle-um. Hey, what country folk we be. Number 9, number 9. 9 little ants march in a line with a rum-tum-taddle-um, old John Braddle-um. Hey, what country folk we be. Number 10, number 10. 5 were women and 5 were men with a rum-tum-taddle-um, old John Braddle-um. Hey, what country folk we be. Number 11, number 11, always rhymes with number 7 with a rum-tum-taddle-um, old John Braddle-um. Hey, what country folk we be. Number 12, number 12, if you want any more, you can sing it yourself. With a rum-tum-taddle-um, old John Braddle-um, hey, what country folk we be.
I think that's the last one. Okay. What a goddamn ordeal. And for doing that, we received the Rotten Winged Sword insignia. Had we dueled her instead, we would have gotten the Valkyrie's prosthesis, which is just an upgraded version of that. However, there is another item that we would not have received. I think we may have to quit out and come back in. It used to be that you could get both talismans if you helped her out at first and then killed her afterwards. It still wouldn't give you the quest item that I want, but hey, you would get both talismans that way. They put this barrier around her though in a patch, so you can't do that anymore.
Oh. Hello. Thank you for lending your hand. Without your help, I could not have defeated that quartet. I feel as if I've been in your debt from beginning to end. Thank you. With your help, I was able to live as my own person, if only in passing. But this is where things end. I paused to even tell you, but I took out the needle myself. Tell whoever put you up to this that if I am to flower into something other than myself, I would rather rot into nothingness as I am. Please, let me pass alone. The Scarlet Rot writhes now. Worse than ever. Soon, I won't be more than a mound of flesh, curse-laden. Untouchable. I wouldn't want such a thing to bring you harm. Please, the Scarlet Rot soon, curse-laden.
Reload real quick. And upon reloading, she has passed on, and on her corpse we can find the unalloyed gold needle again. Let's head back to Gowrie.
Oh, Millicent, my daughter, why would you take out the needle? You were so close, so very close to becoming the fairest of all flowers. Would you disown us, too, as your mother did? We children of the Scarlet Rot. Millicent.
Like your mother did.
Malenia.
Disown us.
Do you detest us so utterly? Millicent. Malenia. Do you detest us? Millicent. Malenia. Do you
Okay,
detest
now that I'm sure he has nothing else to say. Yeah, he looks distraught when you first see him, and you think, yeah, he's just received news that his adopted daughter is dead. But that's not it at all. Talisman bearing an icon that depicts a mass of masked figures greatly raises potency of incantations. The figures represent the flock at prayer, their firm belief in the intangible inspiring even the solitary founder of their religion. What is faith, if not an affirmation? What he's mourning is something entirely different. The four sisters were born in the swamp of Aeonia, came to the Halig tree under the aegis of Gowry, yet those buds were doomed to never blossom. An intricately crafted needle of unalloyed gold removed by Millicent from her flesh. Bears no trace of befouled blood, but is faintly moist with dew. There is something I must return to Melania, the dignity, the sense of self that allowed her to resist the call of the Scarlet Rot, which, remember, is an outer god, an unmanifested one. Before I go any further, let's head back and start prepping. So what Gowry is mourning is, one, this feeling of rejection, but also that Millicent will not be what he wanted her to be, what he needed her to be, which is kind of an object of worship, a vessel. Someone who can transform and become their embodied god. They being the children of the rot, the pests. And in here, one of those blooms, one of the ones we saw first in the battle between Radon and Melania, worn by young women who set off into the world to confront their fate. This is the set that we see on Millicent. Unfortunately, no further context added, aside from that we find it next to the bloom. The Scarlet Aeonia. The nuclear option that Melania employed as a last-ditch measure against Radon. And that's yet another NPC with a tragic death. To be expected, really. Not sure what this elevator shortcut is for, but it's active now. Right at the bitter end of the dungeon, it's active. It's less tragic, I feel, than many others have been. I feel it's more bittersweet. Because Millicent gets something that she wants out of this. She gets this self-determination. She gets to choose her own fate. Write her own story. How it ends. And dignity is something that she prizes clearly very, very highly. She wants to return dignity to Melania. So her being able to die with that dignity is a big deal to her. But speaking of Melania, next one is gonna be a big one. So I will be seeing you all again very, very soon. And until then, I believe she has a warning for us.
I dreamt for so long. My flesh was dull gold, and my blood rotted. Corpse after corpse left in my wake. as I awaited his return. Heed my words. I am Melania, Blade of Mikola. And I have never known defeat.